Hey, welcome back. This is Nate with In the Mix Light and Sound. And for today's gig log, we're heading to a familiar place with a familiar band. We're going to the Steel Pub in Bethlehem, PA, working with our friends, the Lucky Sevens, tonight. And the theme of this gig log is streamlining. So we have a load in that is there's not parking at the venue. It's all on-street parking. So we have a pack with basically our bar rig. We've done a gig log here before, so we're going to do a similar setup to that. But I'm trying something a little bit different with the lighting. Over the past year or two, I've been investing in some lighting that is battery powered and some lighting that has wireless DMX built into it. So one thing I really enjoy stage lighting, and wish I had more time for it at my gigs. And some of the larger events when I have helpers and the budget's there for lighting, we have a big lighting rig with the truss and all of that we bring out and add that in. But for some of these smaller gigs, there isn't a budget for big lighting and an extra person to run that lighting. But you still want to have some presence, some wash at the very least. So one of the challenges to lighting is it's just extra to set up, right? So sound's the priority, getting everything mic'd up, getting everything sounded right, sound checks, all of that. And then you have lights. And then worse yet, at the end of the night, you get done packing up all your sound equipment and you still have lights to pack up. It's just one extra thing. So there's no real getting around. If you're going to bring out lights, it's going to be extra time. It's going to be extra work. And you should account for that in your prices. But even so, on the smaller budget, I like to provide something, just some type of wash, something that's not going to take a lot of effort on my part to set up and tear down. And that's where some of these battery powered fixtures, I think, are going to come in. I've already seen on a couple gigs where I've used them, they've dramatically cut down on setup and tear down time because there's no extra cables to run, especially the ones that have wireless DMX built right in. You basically pop them up on a stand or position them where you want to, and they're ready to go. So we're going to try out all battery powered lighting at this gig. So when we get there, we might get a little bit of the setup and that, but I want to concentrate on the lighting and some of the techniques that I use to help streamline the process for lighting, and hopefully get some video of the performance and some video of how the lighting looks at this particular venue. Again, no movers or anything huge like that, no haze. It's just simple wash and beam effects that you can use. So with that, stay tuned, and thanks again for tuning in and watching. All right, so we have the truck unloaded here, and if you haven't watched the previous gig logs, here's a little idea of the audience area. Under a tent, and then here is the stage that we're working with. So we're gonna go ahead and get everything set up, and then we'll talk about that lighting. All right, so we're about an hour and a half into setup. We have all the sound gear laid out. The band is starting to arrive, so we'll get them plugged in. But let's talk a little bit about the battery lights that are happening here. So the front lights are Chauvet battery powered, so no power cords. They're all running on battery here. I'll put the link to the model down. They recently just came out with a new model that actually takes the USB version of the Chauvet D-Fi, so even more streamlined with that. But right now I have a Chauvet D stick in there, and they're all daisy chained together. So 3 up front to cover the stage. We'll change that color. And then we've got our both lighting tubes. These are going to be spread out on the stage. They are battery powered and wireless DMX. Now, these don't use the D-Fi protocol. These use like the Donner type, so the kind of generic wireless DMX. So we'll spread those out. And then along the back, we have our color keys. which have the blinders built in. The top bar, that's how I use them anyway. It's just for white blinders, and then they're dimmed down low right now, but once again, no wires here. Now, one thing I had to do to convert between the DeFi, which is over at my front of house area there, which is by that wall back where you might see the laptop there, is a little dongle here. So I have a DeFi plugged in, and to keep the wireless signals separated a little bit, I ran just a short DMX cable. But here is what does the Donner DMX. It's just, I think it's by Lydia. I'll see if I can post a link to it. But this does the Donner type generic wireless DMX, and we have that going from a Chauvet. So we'll see how that does there, kind of converting over, but completely wireless from front of house. So we'll head up to front of house here real quick. So front of house for sound, we have a dual touchscreen laptop, which is running wirelessly from the router on stage there. And then we have our Wolfmix controller. And in the back we have plugged in the battery-powered XLR transmitter. So as far as setup for these lights, probably about 15 minutes or so just to get these guys here. Now, I'm not using, usually I use Chauvet flex stands, but because of the load in here, I just wanted to keep the weight down a little bit, so we're just using regular pneumatic stands from Ultimate Support. So there's our start. So we'll go ahead and get the band plugged in, we'll get these lights spread out, and we'll see how it goes tonight. Alright, so we have about 20 minutes till showtime. So we have the lights are on, but we have them in blackout just to save the battery life there. No reason to use them when we don't. As we get a little closer, I'll put them into like a low dim kind of brake mode view, and then we'll go from there. All right, so we're about an hour in, and looking at the battery levels on the Chauvets, they haven't even dropped a level yet. Now on the color strips, let's find the front. Here we are. They are also showing, I don't know if you can see that on the screen here, also showing 100%. Now let's take a look at the color keys. All right, the color keys look like they're down 1 bar. They still have 3 bars left, so we're not in the red yet. I have a feeling the color keys have a bit more of a battery drain on them now. I've been dimming them down, not running them at 100%. So we'll see if they make it through the night. I do have power cables ready, just in case we need to throw those on. We'll make a game time decision after the next break. So there'll be 3 sets tonight. And the next break, we'll check on the battery levels and see if we need to do anything with those color keys. The rest of these, the Chauvets and the tubes, these batteries last forever. I could probably get through 2 solid gigs with them. Never had an issue with them draining a battery, unless they were accidentally like left on in a case or something like that. It's the color keys we're really doing a test on tonight. So more to come. All right, so here we are on set break number 2, and the lights are working pretty well as far as batteries. So we are down to 3 bars on the Chauvets. We are at, let's see, let's get the menu up. There we go. Still showing 100% on these bars. And let's take a look at the color keys. All right, so the color keys are at 2 bars. We have an hour and a half of show left. So the question is now, do I chance it and see if they make it to the end, or do I power them up? The nice part about them is they do come with long power cords, so I might be able to make it to the, one of the rear boxes here to power them up. I think I'm going to err on the side of caution. So, can they make a 4-hour gig? Now, I've had them on since probably about an hour before the gig started. They weren't on, meaning that they were dimmed down or they were blacked out. So I guess that would be about 5 hours here. They're supposed to have about a 6-hour runtime. So we might be okay, but again, I think I may err on caution and see if I can plug them in while we're on a break. The other thing is the Chauvet DeFi. When the group gets up and is dancing, I've noticed some delay. Now, I don't know if that is because of the DeFi getting blocked by bodies, or if it's because we have 2 separate sets of wireless DMX happening here. We got a Chauvet receiver here, we got the wireless transmitter there. So we may limp through here. I mean, it hasn't been too bad, but there has been a little bit of a delay, especially when doing some of the blinder work and things like that. All right, we got one more set left. All right, so we did go ahead and plug the color keys in here. And they have PowerCon in, and they do come with real nice long cables. We got both of them in without any extension cords right into the little outlet box here. So it better be safe than sorry. And they'll be charged up for the next gig, hopefully. All right, we're going to experiment a little bit here and see. So what we did is we connected our DMX to the PNet ArtNet, like DMX to SACN ArtNet. That is connected to my Wi-Fi, which then is connected through the router in the rack here down to an old DMX King node that's plugged in here. And then we have the Chauvet D5 plugged in over there. Kept everything else the same. So the D5 to wireless is still over there, but now the transmitter for the D5 is right here side stage. It's the Wi-Fi overall that is now carrying the DMX signal through SACN. So we'll see if that makes a difference here for the third set. I was testing out some of the blinders and everything, and there was no lag, so that's a good sign. But we'll see once everybody gets up on the dance floor here and we start moving. This might be the way to go for forward, if that works. A little bit of extra setup, couple extra wires, but nothing major. And the nice part is that P-Night up there in front of house has a USB connection. It actually runs off of a USB. So if I need to go battery powered at all, that's easier to run because I can just plug it right into a power bank along with the Wolf Mix there. So we'll see what happens on the third set here. I think they're getting ready to go back up and start. All right, so I have to apologize. Didn't get any video of the teardown. Have a gig early tomorrow, so I wanted to try and get out of there. Overall time for teardown was close to about an hour and a half. Now, there were a couple factors in that. One being that we used to be able to park right behind the load-in area, but now we have to unload, find parking, and then, of course, during the pack up, get everything ready, and then you got to go get your car, bring it back. So with that included, that was included in the hour and a half, was finding the truck and bringing it back and loading everything up. So that said, pretty much on par for typical teardown, usually about an hour to an hour and a half. Now I'll say with the lights, main point of the video tonight, the battery powered lights I think definitely play a factor in efficiency, setup, and teardown. The fixtures that already have the wireless DMX built in is even better because you don't have to deal with dongles or anything like that. It's just basically turn them on and they're ready to go. So hindsight being what it is, I think we're going to see more of those types of fixtures in the future. There's already some battery powered moving heads and different things like that are coming out. So the future is in lighting is definitely going to be battery powered. Now I think a lot of that is geared towards mobile DJs, which is fine because we kind of cover similar ground a lot of times. Now, of course, for larger festivals, for gigs that the lighting is a major part of the show, it's mission critical, and that's always going to be wired DMX. Now, the nice part about a lot of these battery powered fixtures is that not only can you run them off a battery and wireless DMX, but you can also plug them in and run them off of AC power. And all the ones that I've seen, except for those light strips that I had, the tubes, also have DMX in and out hardwired. So you can use them in both ways. You kind of have the best of both worlds there. So that's nice to have the options. For run and gun gigs where it's just quick, setup, you want to get some lights on trees. The battery powered and wireless DMX is great because you just set it on stands and that's it. The color keys, I like them. I like how bright they can be. They really do cover a lot of stage. They set up quickly. They tear down quickly. They have a nice case that they come with that just slide them in, zip it up, and you're good to go. Another plus for them is even with the batteries built in, they are lightweight. They're really light, which is nice because at the end of the night, one more heavy thing is just an extra heavy thing that you got to load up. Those Chauvet pars, I have a bag of about 8 of them. So on their own, individually, they're not too bad, but 8 of them together, not super heavy, but it's probably, it's a hefty bag. So something to keep in mind depending on how you're, how many you're going to have, how you're going to group them together. I like the flexibility of being able to do uplighting. Now, like I said,